welcome back to another Card Hoppin' video hop. For March, we are featuring birthday cards with glitter or gilding flakes, and I missed the mark. I was so excited about this project that I went straight to my Easter products, and I completely forgot about the birthday theme. So I apologize for that. I hope you still enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the hop. Here's a look at the products that I'm using today. I have Let's Have a Word Easter, which is a very delicate scripty sentiment that says Easter. I'll be using the Cathedral Die, again from the Greetery, which is a beautiful stained glass window. Botanicuts Wildflower Mix and Forget-Me-Nots. I'll be coloring those and putting them together off camera. The star of the show is from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I have their Silk Microfine glitter. I'm using Peony Pink, Teal, Cool Diamond, and Diva. And then of course I have their double-sided adhesive sheet, which is going to help me adhere the glitter. I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white cardstock, and I am just peeling back the corner of this sticker sheet. So the sticky side is facing up towards me. I'm going to add the corner of my cardstock, and I'm going to leave part of the adhesive covered. Then I'll peel it back. Once I peel it back, I'm going to put it back over the top. I'm going to bring in my guillotine trimmer, and I'm just going to trim this down so I don't waste any of that adhesive. So this allows me to get this on this panel straight, and then it also allows me to cut it down to the size that I want. So I'm just cutting across the edges. That piece of brown paper, I'm going to keep that because I can use it for another project using this glitter that I'll bring to you later on my channel. I've cut out my Cathedral Die, and I'm going to poke out some, not all, of those stained glass windows. Now you're going to notice that I'm trying to figure out the pattern that I want to use, and so I'm putting the window panes in the colors stacks that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with 2 pieces, and I'm going to remove the adhesive. I do have a coffee filter, and I'm going to start with the purpley color, I believe, which is going to be Diva. This is very, very, very fine glitter. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this was not messy. Doing it the way that I did, it really was not, it didn't create a mess on my desk at all. I'm going to pour some of this into that coffee filter over top. You can see how fine that glitter is right there. And I'm just going to lay it over the top. I'll put the glitter back into the container, bring in another coffee filter. I'm going to tap these off to get the excess glitter off. I'll move it over to this other coffee filter, as I mentioned, and then I'm going to burnish it with my finger. And when I start burnishing it, it's just adding it, it's just adhering it even better to the adhesive. I'm going to, off camera, you'll see it in just a little bit, but I'm going to use a Swiffer cloth, and I wipe over the top, I wipe over the back, and that's as clean as it is. I wipe my finger off, and I didn't have glitter everywhere, and I loved it. I love the effect. It doesn't come off. Once it's burnished into that adhesive, it stays, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's not chunky. It is fabulous. So this is the teal color, and I'm doing the same thing, burnishing it with my finger, and then I'm going to take a Swiffer cloth, and I'm going to wipe the front side, the back side, and my finger off, and then we're going to go on to the next color, which is going to be the peony. So once I get this on, I'm going to do the same thing. This time you're going to see the microfiber cloth. I'm not going to repeat this. You can see the top portion of the cathedral window. I did the same thing. I just put the die cut pieces into different stacks, and when I did that, it just helped me make sure that I coordinated the colors so that I had alternating colors everywhere. And now that I have this complete, I'm going to go ahead and I cut out a second Cathedral die. I'm going to just bend back the release paper, line up the top, so similar to what I did with the cardstock when I die cut it. I'm just going to line this up, and once I get the top lined up, I'll slowly release that paper, and it's going to allow me to get this on nice and straight. So this is going to be 2 layers thick, which is going to give me just a little bit of dimension and allow me to pop those pieces back in. So I'm going to start alternating the pieces, and again, just being able to have them in those stacks when I initially started adding the glitter helped me get the perfect pattern for this window. And then we're going to move on. So this is going to go in really quick and easy, just like a puzzle. Isn't that pretty? I thought about doing some gold embossing. You could certainly emboss the outline of the window, but I decided that the white was just a little bit more spring-like, so I kept my window white for the purpose of this card and kind of went with a light and airy card. I wanted to show you that I cut out the flowers, so these are the wildflowers, and I just wanted to show you how I color them. So I'm going to lift this off. I'll start taking some of the dies off, but then I have it's a Cricut mat, and I just lift off the dies and then I adhere them to the Cricut mat, and that's how I do my coloring so that I don't have to hold on to all those tiny little pieces. I die cut the word Easter. Again, I have that adhesive on top, and I'm going to use the Cool Diamond. I wanted to make sure that the sentiment had that same glittery aspect as the window did. So it's very subtle, hard to capture on film, but it is there and it looks really pretty in person. I'm going to add a second layer for the word Easter just to give a little bit more dimension, because I do like dimension. You could see that I did have a third piece there, and I chose to just go with 2 for this card because I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of my cathedral window. I used a Nordic frame to cut out that boysenberry cardstock, also from the Greetery. It cuts about 4 by 5 1/4 inches. The piece underneath the rose color is just 1/8 of an inch larger. Here's where I'm adding that foam tape to the back of my window. It's going to help hold my pieces in place. It's going to add a little bit of dimension to my window, and of course, as I mentioned before, I love dimension, so this was something that I typically do on my cards. My finished card is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. It will be a top folding white card base, and as I mentioned, it will have a little bit like 1/8 of an inch of a border with these card panels. I'm going to center this down once I trim off that overhang of the foam tape. I'm going to center this onto my card panel, and then these are the Botanicuts Wildflower and the Forget-Me-Not mix. I put a bunch of them together. As I mentioned, I did do some ink blending, and I did use my Cricut mat to hold all of those in place while I was doing that. Once I adhere the sentiment, that will finish off my card for today. So I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you'll give these silk microfine glitters a try. I will have them linked in the description box below, along with all the other products that I used. I will have the next creator in the hop linked in the description box below. Please make sure that you show everybody a little bit of love. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.